Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 3 of the Not Quite Serious podcast. I'm Leon, and with me today, as always, is Dan.
Well, hi there, everyone. Got a pretty cool show for you today. Lots of food to taste, drinks,
hopefully,
and news.
Hopefully, it should be pretty good. Yeah. I just want to say before I start, do you remember the Animatrix?
Oh yes,
that they made
yes,
for the Matrix films.
Was that little collection of shorts that they had on a special?
Yeah, the little collection of animated shorts. I found out the other day that they actually did one of those for Batman.
Huh.
Called Batman Gotham Knight.
Interesting.
So I ordered it off Amazon and it just arrived. So I've not seen it yet, but yeah, I look forward to watching that.
Yeah, it's always good to have more Batman in your life.
Yeah, I think they made it off the back of the Christopher Nolan films. So it's actually it parallels the Animatrix. Like they made the Animatrix for
in that style.
The anime. Yeah. So it's a collection of anime shorts, in all different styles for Batman. So that seems pretty cool.
Hopefully they've given some free samples out so I can watch one of the shorts.
Yeah, quite possibly. There are 6 apparently. So I just found out it existed the other day. Picked it up off Amazon for like £3. So I look forward to watching that later.
Well, they've been posting a lot of. I don't know if it's because one of us is following something Batman-y or one of my friends, but it's been suggested automatically on Facebook as like a thing, just random animated bits of Batman. It's really strange. Right. I don't know why it started doing that for me. I guess it's got the right mark.
I like Batman enough.
It's this Facebook.
I like Batman enough. I don't think I follow anything.
No, I didn't specifically follow it.
No.
It picked it for me.
Pretty cool. Yeah. Anyway, what have we got coming up in the show today, Dan?
On today's show, I'll be trying some food, which will be also going out as a separate video on the channel. Then, you will be tasting some delicious, I believe they're crisps.
Yeah, don't give too much away. There are some crisps. Here we are. You can just about hear them. That's your preview.
That'll be shortly followed by the Mighty Beerist faction.
We've both got a beer this week, so that should be pretty interesting.
Then a bit of news. I'm going to be talking about mobile phones this week, or this fortnight. Then into the games we've been playing, a little dash of wrestling news, and then finish up with what's coming up on the channel.
Yep, sounds good. Sounds good.
And so, let's barrel into the old food tasting. No, don't take more photos, phone.
Excellent. It's going really well already.
Right. This section of the show is going out on the YouTube channel so people can watch me eating these foods. But likewise, you can hear this and the rest of the amazing NQS podcast. It's also on this channel. We're still looking for somewhere else to host it as a separate audio podcast, but we'll see. And of course, if you're listening to the podcast, don't forget to check out this video on our YouTube channel. Alright.
Yeah.
I think I've covered that pretty nicely.
Absolutely. Sounds good to me. So what have you got for
up is a refreshing Heineken 0.0. It looks a lot like a normal Heineken beer, but one of those little, well, not little, but kind of little. Those 300ml bottles, I believe it is.
Is it like a 330ml bottle?
Yeah, that's the one. Got all your typical blue labels. Heineken 00, alcohol free, premium quality.
So it's almost like you're getting your beerist faction on.
Kind
right
of,
now.
But in theory, there's no beer in this. However, it does say not more than alcohol 0.05. So it's lying. There's a smidgen of alcohol. Technically, there's 0.0 still.
It's as good as alcohol free.
They say that pure orange juice, has about that much alcohol in it. So I guess they're not lying.
Any fruit that slightly ferments wouldn't it? Yeah.
They don't have much to say about this particular beverage. Brewed under supervision of Heineken, blah blah blah, natural flavours. And all there is in there is water, malted barley, hop extract, natural flavourings. Shall I crack her open?
Go for it. So it's just a beer without the alcohol.
Yeah.
So we've covered those on the channel before.
It's a beer without the fun. Of course, I've brought my amazing bottle opener, which I got in Bali. There we go.
Awesome.
It smells convincingly of an alcohol, like a barley drink. Not that barley, but barley as in the malt.
I know what you mean. Yep.
And yeah,
So
nice green
smells
bottle.
smells okay.
Very, very thin, kind of bubbly head. You can see the bubbles rushing up. Not really much to tell you about it because it's pretty bog standard as far as it.
I think most people know what
what
Heineken tastes like.
is. Let's swig it on down. It's got a fairly sort of a slightly meaty flavouring to it. Not of meat, but it's kind of
Tastes like a giant pepperami.
It tastes of its flavour vaguely is reminiscent of Heineken. Obviously, the punch is completely gone because it's basically been gutted of what makes alcohol great in the first place.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a weak beer.
Well, it's weak, but it's flavourful in a way. If you like carbonated water, imagine that, but with some extra kind of barley flavourings in on top to give it a simulated alcohol sensation.
Okay, so like malty, hoppy, fizzy water.
It's legitimately refreshing. I wouldn't say it's too bad a drink. And it costs £3.50 for 4 of these bottles. So
I thought you were going to say it was $3.50 for one then.
No, that would have been pushing the boat. That would have been a bit like that beer that they were selling for £13, I think, at a pub. I'll just set that down there. Yep.
That's crazy.
But it was one of them special 9% ones made by a really the most famous brewer in the country or something.
So 13.
Yeah, £13 for that pint. But it's sold in halves traditionally.
Yeah, I've paid no more than a fiver for specially imported beers.
I guess this one's even more special. Speaking of special, I'm gonna move on to my next tasty treat.
Ooh.
And what I got here, Aero Heavenly. It comes in a kind of a white tub with brown accents. And a picture of a dollop spoon heaped with what kind of looks like a mousse with a bit of a caramelly topping. And there's lots of bubbles drawn on it like you would expect on aero motifs. This cost £1 on special offer, but it will set you back £1.80 when it's not on offer. Or thereabouts.
Ooh, I can't see the tub, but depending on the size of the tub, that could be alright.
This tub is around about the size of, if you imagine one of those Muller rices, and then you stacked another one on top of it. Just a little bit shorter than that, but the same volume mass. Not as tall as on top. So it's not tiny. It's not humongous. It's not as big as those ice creams you get from Ben & Jerry's.
Okay, so it's not quite a pint.
There's a lovely golden foil along the top when you pop the lid off. I'll just peel that open. Oh, you're greeted with a nice, really smooth looking swirl inside. You can see like a caramel swirling along the middle and the white mousse around the outside. It's very pleasant to look at, actually. And you can smell the hints of caramel. But that's about it when you're smelling. Maybe a tab of ice creamy smell. Let me dip my spoon in. It's very soft. I don't know if I've been keeping this at the ideal temperature. I've kept it refrigerated, but I don't know if this needed to be deep frozen. Yeah, the caramel motif's stronger when you get it out on a spoon. Go on then. Let's have a mousse. I quite like the mousseness, but the little like bits in it. I'm not 100% what these bits are. I think they are pecan nuts. Kind of subtract and confuse me from the mousse sensation. So I don't really know where to go with it.
I quite like pecan nuts, but
I do too, but it detracts from the sensation a little bit because it's just so different.
It just has bits in.
Yeah, it's got a mousse with bits in.
Sounds good.
With a mousse, you kind of expect your tongue to melt through a lot of it, but then these nuts get in the way, and it kind of just feels a bit, just a bit weird in the mouth.
It just gives it an awkward mouthfeel.
You're eating a load of soggy, wet nuts, basically.
You expect something like that to be sprinkled with nuts rather than all the way through.
No, these are deeply all the way through. There's not all that much caramel when you dig on in. It's mostly just the aero mousse and pecan nuts sewn all the way through. The mousse is nice. It would just be maybe a bit better if they only sprinkled the nuts on top or something like that, just so that you can kind of know what you're getting yourself in for a little bit.
Yeah.
Overall, it's not a bad product, but maybe they should rework how the nuts work. I think as a summary for my foods today, I'm going to go never up or down for the mousse. I guess if you're paying full price, nearly £2, it has to be a down because it's very expensive. And for the beer, or the not beer, I'll give it up because it does a fairly good approximation of beer. Obviously, there's only so much you can do without real beer in there. And that just about sums it up. My delicious food encounters for this week. Check out the podcast, guys. And podcast guys, check out the YouTube channel.
Please do.
Okay, so moving on from that, I believe you've got some.
Yes, I have got
in front of you
some. I've got some crisps. These are, excuse me. These are Walker's Choose Me or Lose Me, which is a new campaign Walker's have started. Walker's being the Lay's equivalent in the UK, if anyone doesn't know.
Yeah, now I'm unfamiliar with this Choose Me or Lose Me campaign.
What it seems to be, you buy a pack of these 6 bags of crisps. I'll just get the big bag here. You buy a bag of these 6 bags of crisps, and you get 2 packs of a traditional flavour, and then 4 packs of a new flavour. So the ones I've got are salt and vinegar versus lime and black pepper.
So that means, you know how they did the 6 flavours, I think a couple of years ago, with like crazy flavours in big packs?
Yeah, when they do the do as a flavour thing for Walkers.
Does that mean we could actually lose traditional flavours if the people don't choose them?
That's what it seems like, yeah. The salt and vinegar is versus the lime and black pepper, and you have to choose the favourite. They've got I spotted a prawn cocktail one, which was versus paprika flavour. Paprika crisps are delicious, but I don't want to lose prawn cocktail either because I really like those.
Yeah, it's a bit of a... are people really going to choose against their childhood favourites?
Exactly, and salt and vinegar, at least in our country, is a proper traditional flavour. Every crisp manufacturer makes a version of salt and vinegar.
I guess they just don't expect it to lose.
Yeah, I can't see it doing. But we don't know just how good these lime and black pepper ones are. So
true.
Let's open them up. So they're in a very similar bag to the salt and vinegar, but it's sort of a pale lime green rather than the dark green they use for the salt and vinegar. Oh, they smell quite peppery. Can't smell any lime, but maybe you get that more in the flavour. So let's pick a good crisp.
How are these crisps? Just classic Walkers? There's no special thickness to them or anything there?
Just basic Walker's crisps. This one looks like it's speckled with black pepper. So, smells like it as well. Oh, I am smelling a slight fruitiness on the crisp, actually, when I smell the crisp itself. Yeah, there's a slight fruity citrus flavour to it. Let's give it a go.
That's some fine munching.
You know what? You get there's a big initial citrusy lime flavour on these. With the black pepper's more like sort of starts coming through halfway through the mouthful. And we try another one.
That sounds quite intriguing.
Yeah, when you first put it on your tongue, you get black pepper, and then when you keep it in your mouth for a little bit longer, the lime like punches through, and it's quite a strong lime flavour. And then the black pepper takes an undertone after that.
Seems like a thought out flavour, but would you be willing to choose it and lose the other one?
Now, I would say this flavour, I actually really like that. That's really good. I'd give that a thumbs up. However, I don't think I could pick it over salt and vinegar.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to lose salt and vinegar at the expense. I wouldn't want to choose lime and black pepper at the expense of salt and vinegar.
You'd like to have both of those flavours.
Yeah, definitely. It's actually really, really nice. So, yeah, big thumbs up from that one.
Excellent, excellent.
I'll try and get one of the other flavours for next time.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Maybe the paprika ones, or if there's a slightly more unusual flavour, maybe I'll try and find that one.
We'll look forward to that.
Yeah.
Speaking of looking forwards, I hear you've brought yourself a tasty beer.
I think I'm going to get my...
Drink beer, so I can have beer, so I can get my beer's faction.
Yeah, beer's faction.
Yeah, beer's faction. And today I brought bought this basically at the last minute last night when I remembered that we were going to be recording the podcast today. This is still quite an unusual beer. I just popped into the supermarket, and this is an oatmeal milk stout called Jet Black Heart.
Oh wow, yeah, that's incredibly unusual sounding.
Now, I'm a big fan of oatmeal stout and milk stout. Usually very, very tasty. I'm a massive lover of stout, especially in the winter. A nice stout really just goes down really well. The same way a light hoppy beer goes down really nicely in the summer.
You get a beer for every occasion.
This is from Brewdog again.
How are Brewdog compared to like smaller breweries? Because I notice a lot of the supermarket breweries get a lot of disdain from the the smaller local breweries. I wonder how Brewdog are.
Brewdog sort of started out as a small. Well, they are a craft beer, but they started out smaller and they've sort of been spreading and spreading. I've noticed them first popped up here. I noticed them first sort of expand when I found the beers in Sainsbury's, and then like a couple of years ago they expanded a little bit more, and Tesco started stocking their beer, and you basically find them everywhere now.
I still regard them highly, but at the same time I get a feeling that it's going to be exclusively Brewdog in the supermarkets, and then when you go to the specialist brew shops you'll get something that's like the new Brewdog.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I really need to nip to the little artisan beer place we've got in town and pick up some more unusual beer for next time. But saying that, they only had a couple of bottles of this left, looking slightly sad on the shelf by themselves because I don't think they've been able to sell them. So
giving it to home.
I don't know. I know it was just sort of sandwiched in between some other beers that looked a bit more appealing. It's in the bottle. The label on the bottle is like is white and grey, and it just sort of hides away if you're not looking for it. So I've popped the top off, and that smells like a really good smells like a good milk stout. It should be have a slightly thicker feel in the mouth, an oatmeal milk stout.
One would have thought, yeah.
From what I recall, yeah. This is 4.7% ABV, so it's not very strong.
It's 4.7
as far as stout goes.
Higher than 0.0 I had earlier.
Very true, very true. Let's pour this into my little half-pint glass.
Well, 4.600595.
If you want to get technical. Yeah. Right, let's pour a good half-pint of this into my glass. Okay. So, true to its name, this really is a jet black beer.
I'm not hearing much in the way of fizzing.
No, with it being a stout, it doesn't. It's not a great amount of fizz.
Doesn't bubble up. It's a very thin kind of head, is it?
It's got quite a thick head, but it doesn't have that fizz that a lighter beer has. It doesn't. You don't hear the fizz on it as much. It's foamy. It's got a nice head. It's got like a caramel coloured head. So not like your Guinness that has a pure white head. This is more of a nice caramel colour. It's actually smells quite sweet. Sort of there's a coffee vibe to it.
Yeah.
Sweet coffee, malty. Let's have a taste. See if I can get my beerisfaction.
Yeah.
I can't see this from the smell and the look of it. I can't see this tasting bad at all. Let's go. Ooh. Yeah, that's not bad. It sort of has a slightly slightly creamy mouthfeel.
Oh, yes.
And there is a maltiness to it. It's got a slightly acidic tang on the back end.
I'm not sure why, but
the aftertaste.
I get the impression that you're expecting a little bit more from this, when just judging by the sound of your opinion of it there.
The back end of the taste is the fact that you're drinking an alcoholic beverage. It doesn't mask the fact that it's alcoholic. I've had much stronger stouts that you couldn't tell were very strong at all. I'm not saying that's a downside to the beer. You're obviously drinking a beer.
But you're feeling quite a heavy burn on it, even though it's only 4.7.
Not heavy, no. It just has a tang. Just has that tang on the aftertaste, which tells you I just sipped a beer. Basically, it's not bad at all. But I was expecting a more rounded flavour.
How would you rate such a beer?
It's still good. It's definitely above average. It's got a nice. It's smooth. It's got a nice malty taste and a creamy mouthfeel. So I'm going to give that 7, 6.5, 7, something like that.
Ooh,
it's definitely above average.
7 so on my 10.
Yeah, so on my fair scale, where 5 is average.
Yeah.
You know.
It's a strong contender. What was the name of that beer?
I'm going to say it's up there. It's called Jet Black Heart.
Oh, Jet Black Heart.
Jet Black Heart.
Heart.
Yeah.
Well, it could have been a terrible slip of tongue there.
He's got a bit of a jet black part, matey. No, it's a nice beer. I would definitely can definitely see myself drinking that.
Chug that on a cold day.
I'll drink the rest of that for sure. It's good. It was like £1.80, so it's about standard price for a craft beer around here.
That's not bad
So
considering the comparative price for my non-alcoholic beers.
yeah, very true, very true. And the fact that yours was mass produced, it
Yeah.
was a Heineken, wasn't it? So it's good. I'd still recommend it, just not a like a massively high up there recommendation. So if I'm going to give a round figure, I'd give it a 7.
That sounds fair.
Hmm.
Well, I guess we're full for one show. So it's time to settle our bellies. A little bit of news.
Little bit of news. Do we have much news this week?
Today, I thought I'd talk a bit about mobile phones.
Yes, you're looking at the S8, I believe, aren't you? Not the S8, the Note 8.
The Note
what's
8,
it called?
yeah, it's the
Note 8,
return
yeah.
of Galaxy's Note line. Because if you throw your mind back to last year, the Note 7 was a catastrophic failure.
When they released all those grenades and sent them to people.
It was a phone that was prone to exploding. They did partial recalls, kind of flubbed the recall a bit. Tried to ship a repaired phone, which also exploded. And
every phone they sent out was a bomb, basically.
They managed to pull in millions of them, though, so there's probably not many of those out anymore.
I can't imagine there's many Samsung bombs remaining on the streets.
The thing is, the phone was very popular, and so they actually did eventually re-release the phone again afterwards as a limited edition, because the phone was probably the best phone ever made at that point, except for the fact that it exploded.
It's not really what you want from a phone, is it? Exploding's quite low down on my list of features.
Yeah, you blast yield. However, I am looking forward to the new Note 8. They basically launched that earlier this week on Wednesday at their Samsung Unpacked press conference.
Yeah, I didn't manage to catch that, so you'll have to catch me up.
So what they had was this big, if you imagine projectors showing images on the floor and on the walls, so that they could create a sort of fake quasi 3D effect for their show, so that you see the phone it was to allow them to show big pictures of the phone's big old infinity screen.
Sounds cool. Sounds pretty cool.
Swirl it around, it looked nice. They did open the show with a very kind of putting all their marbles on the table. Last year their phone exploded, and they were very sorry about that. They didn't try to hide it or cut corners there. They were very direct about the fact, and they were keen to thank the Note users, because they're very, very loyal sort of fans.
As they should, definitely. Yeah, there's a lot of people really, really like those Note phones. You being one of them.
Yeah. My last Note was a Note 3. Because I only update my phone every 2 years, because that's generally how long contracts last. They didn't do the Note 5 in the UK, so I ended up switching to the S6.
Yeah, it was a weird oversight, wasn't it?
Yeah. Then obviously they skipped Note 6 entirely and went straight to 7, so that it would catch up with their main S series. That's why I got an S6 at the time, because it was ahead by one figure.
Yeah.
So I have pre-ordered my Note 8. Looking forward to that. It's pretty much all its details leaked ahead, like in its entirety. There are a few news sites that seemingly posted details that were obviously completely untrue. There was no kind of corroboration between the other news sites between that site, and you get the feeling that was just to counter the rumours of it.
Well, yeah, the rumour mill always starts churning close to the release of a new phone, doesn't it? All sorts of hilarious. This phone's going to cook your breakfast for you. You put a slice of bacon on this phone, and it'll cook it right up.
What it does have is a huge 6 gigabytes of RAM. That's like equivalent to
fantastic.
some desktop PCs. Which is convenient. Because if you happen to pre-order the thing, between now and a couple of weeks from now, they actually will give you a voucher to claim one of those Dex docks with it. Well, it doesn't come with it, but A couple of days after you've received your phone, they open up the lines for you to claim a free dock that they'll ship to you. So that means you get the desktop mode on the phone basically for free included, which is a nice way. I was always curious.
Sounds pretty nifty, yeah.
And that's just the perfect excuse for me to get one.
Absolutely, that does sound like a nice little piece of tech to fiddle with.
And so the idea of being able to dock your phone into the dock, the dock has a HDMI port and USB ports, so it's like a mini PC. Well, it basically works very similar to how the Nintendo Switch dock works. It's basically the exact same thing, but for your phone, because the phone's doing all the desktop stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
There are fans in the dock, so I imagine that the phone is being pushed harder than it would normally be when in mobile mode.
Yeah, maybe it's being overclocked or something.
Otherwise, the specs are pretty much the same as the S8, except for its camera on the back. It's going to be having two cameras, one with a wide-angle lens and one that is used for it's like a far lens thing focus. It's 2 times magnification. Means you can have 2 times optical zoom on the phone without losing resolution. Zoom right in on stuff. There's no like because it's already got the other lens basically built next to it. I mean, these do actually make that noise a little bit. Actually, now that I think about it, but it's not There's no moving parts. They're massive.
Right. Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, that's
the thing that really interests me about those is the idea that you might be able to take high dynamic range photos instantly, because normally it has to, when you take them, it has to you've got to hold it still because it's got to take 2 photos. One where it's in its basic sort of focus, and then where it changes focus all the way to the other end of the spectrum. So it's kind of like, and if you move at all, it's blurry. And that's no fun. So the idea of being able to take HDR photos instantly sounds great. And
that does sound fantastic. Yeah.
They pushed the fact that a lot of photos you take, and I got this when I took a lot of photos recently, they're all slightly soft around the edges, because I moved a little bit while I was taking them. That they've got technology in there to eliminate that from happening, which sounds great.
It's sort of an anti-wobble.
Yeah, it's got very strong anti-wobble. They compared it with the iPhone, the current iPhone's camera, which is just slowly drifting around, because the modern cameras have anti-shake, because old cameras would be like jittering like
I mean, no matter how still you hold your camera, you're going to move slightly. It's just.
But the demonstration they had, they were on a boat and they were holding it up, looking at another boat, and it was really smooth and gliding. It wasn't waving up and down.
Let's hope that translates into real life.
Yeah, I tend to find with these cameras, they tend to be a little bit harder to get the perfect shot than you think.
I've got the feeling they may have been exaggerating slightly with that one, but we'll see.
I think that's about everything about the Note 8 that's of particular interest, except for the price. I've not covered the price.
Yes, this is the tends to be the roadblock for everyone. Literally
everyone.
Go on, hit us.
Okay, £870.
Well, I could buy a low end desktop PC for that.
Yep, it's quite the expense.
I might not be running Shadow of Mordor on it when that releases, but
it's the Dex dock. If you manage to claim it, obviously that's not always going to be there as an offer. It's only here for the first few weeks. They're worth about £100 on their own, so it's a decent bonus. It helps the price be about the same as last year's phones when they were brand new, because I think some of them were about 750-ish.
Yeah. This is why I tend to buy the previous generation phone.
They drop down in price immensely. Only reason I've gone for this is because it's 2 years are up, and the idea of buying an old phone on my new contract, I gotta have the best. And that's probably where they're ringing us for money, these mobile phone providers, because they know this.
Yeah, they're just preying on people like you.
But Carphone Warehouse have been losing profits recently because these phones have been lasting more than 2 years. People have been keeping them for 3 years. So see how that kind of bites them back eventually.
Yeah, yeah. People do get used to a phone and tend to like to hang on to it.
So we'll see if that happens. Otherwise, in the world of phone news, the iPhone, I believe it's the iPhone 8, but yeah, the iPhone 8 is coming up. I think they're going to be announcing that in the next few weeks.
Yeah, so it could be out by the end of September.
The rumours are
Going on past.
It's all rumours at the minute. There's been no really obvious solid information. Looking at Tech Radar's website, they've mentioned it's the 10th anniversary of the iPhone, which is amazing. I can't believe it's been 10 years since they first started doing them. I feel old because they still feel a bit recent to me.
Yeah, I mean, but when I think about it, I have been through like 4 or 5 smartphones.
Yeah,
by now.
True.
And that's like one every 2 years, like you said. So
this phone looks like it's doesn't have a wraparound display based by the rumor mill, but obviously this could all be fake. But it looks like it could potentially fill the entire front of the phone, with just a thin line around the edge.
Yeah, that does. Yeah, this keeps that rumor keeps popping up from my from what I remember, but it's plausible these days. You could get away with having just a tiny bezel.
There's some with the camera and speaker kind of dobbed in the very middle of the top, so screens like to the left and right. I think that looks a little bit ugly to my eyes, but
we'll see. I would. You got like little Batman ears poking up off the top.
Yeah,
where the screen is. Yeah, I think I'd
I'd have a straight line there. Now.
You'll never be able to unsee Batman's face while you're looking at the looking at those mock-ups.
Apparently iPhones haven't really had wireless charging before, and that's a rumoured new technology that's either going to launch with it or be enabled at some point. Why they would need to add new software to make what they've clearly hardwarely put in it work suddenly, I don't know. But
well, maybe it's just a piece of software to turn that feature on. You know what Apple are like.
Yeah, maybe you have to pay for it too. No,
yeah,
couldn't be. There are rumours the price for this could be in excess of £900, so even more expensive than the Galaxy Note 8. But even though that is a rumour, there were rumours saying the Note 8 would be over £900. So, take that with whatever you will.
Yeah, take it with a large chunk of salt for the time being. But I wouldn't put it past Apple to have a phone that costs nearly £1,000.
Leak-wise, there doesn't seem to be as extensive amount of leaks for the.
I wonder if they'll put in that impressive piece of technology that allows people to just attach a pair of headphones to the phone.
Well, that would be groundbreaking.
That'd be kind of crazy, I think. Yeah.
The thing is, Apple have sort of gotten used to being the trendsetter, and I think when they did their headphones one, they figured everyone would follow ship. It was a reasonable kind of gambit. The headphone is an ancient piece of technology, and there's plenty of
but if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, and plus you don't have to charge your headphones, and they only cost a pittance. You can get a good pair for £20 that'll last you months.
Without a silly dongle in the middle.
If you need wireless headphones, they're probably going to have some kind of batteries in them, and so they're going to be inherently quite expensive and easy to lose if you don't buy a special extra piece of wire to connect them back in your head. That was the amazing accessory they brought out after they released their earbuds, I think they're called.
Yeah. I've seen a couple of people wearing those around. Wireless earphones just look really strange to me.
Do they poke out of your head like a big dobbin?
They sit on the side of your face like you're wearing 2 hands-free kits. It's kind of strange. You got a small hands-free kit in each ear. It looks a little bit odd to me, but
oh yeah, that's what that is.
To each his own.
Well, that's about all the news I can think of in my amazing head of news. So what do you want to do next? The games or the wrestling?
We can probably close out with the game stuff. Let's
Yeah, we did that last time, didn't we? So if I walk down old Wrestling Avenue,
yeah, what's been happening?
Well, SummerSlam's been and gone. I talked about it a little bit last time, and that big main event match, which I'd forgotten all the competitors for. Well, if I go through that, and
because you're the greatest fan.
Yeah, I'm the biggest fan. It's a shame that I kind of forgot about the competitors in that match, because it was an excellent match. Really, really good storytelling in that one. It was like half an hour long, and there were lots of turns. There was pure action and surprises. We had Brock Lesnar, the champ, who only fights wrestles every 1 or 2 months.
I think it's like every 3 years, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, probably won't see him until January now in the ring. Which kind of that was a spoiler, because that's revealed the end of the match, because obviously he said he was going to quit if he lost, but if we're going to see him in January, that means he didn't lose, and he was up against.
Yeah, we're not pretending not to have any spoilers, though, are we?
No, it was last week, a whole week ago now.
Yeah.
If it was Monday or Tuesday, I would have probably bit my lip a bit.
Yeah, most people have had a chance to see it, I reckon, if they wanted to.
He was up against the biggest, beefiest men in the entire company. We had Roman Reigns. When it pours, it rains. You know how everyone loves him.
Yeah.
He did a really good job.
I mean, from my outside looking in perspective, he is quite popular.
He gave it kind of I think he does his best when it looks like he's really going to win, but then somehow he gets caught short, just because of how people feel about him right now. That kind of makes people, that gets him over a bit, because he tries really hard but just can't quite do it. Because when he's like the Mary Sue of wrestling, and just he's invincible, people get a bit annoyed. That happened with John Cena.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Also in that amazing fatal 4-way match, they had the I'm just trying to roll my mind back now to who that other competitor was. Well, they had Braun Strowman. He's basically the monster of the group. He is like it's got to be 7 foot tall, and he's famous for going roar, making a stupid roar noise, and pushing over ambulances or fire trucks or whatever it is.
Impressive.
In a clip, he pushed over that ambulance to bust up, I believe it was Roman Reigns he was against at the time, feuding with. And during the match, he pushed over an announcer desk to crush Brock Lesnar. And after he was done pushing over that huge announcer desk, he was really tired and leaning on the post of the ring, out of breath, even though he's strong enough to push over an ambulance. That should have been easy.
Well...
is all you really need to know. Oh, who was that fourth person? Let me just...
Don't think we'll ever.
Yeah,
Don't think we'll ever know unless you ask Google.
Yeah, SummerSlam results.
Let's do it live. Come on.
I'll just Google it live. So we got Brock Lesnar. Oh, of course, and of course, it was Samoa Joe. He's basically this big, tubby kind of butterbean kind of guy. He's got a broken, stubby nose.
He's a butterball.
Butterbean. I think there was a boxer called Butterbean who was basically a fat guy that would kick the shit out of you.
sounds about right.
He's got a penchant for injuring people because he's very, very rough. Yeah, and they really made a great sort of match. You didn't know where it was going to go, because obviously Brock Lesnar's kind of he's become face now, so everyone's like, "Oh, come on, Brock," because people really thinking he was just going because of his interest in UFC and fighting someone for reals in that.
Yeah, I mean, we discussed that last time, didn't we?
Last time's discussion, and Yeah, he's not going anywhere, at least not until WrestleMania, because his contract ends
Not
just
for the
after
time being.
WrestleMania. So I don't know if he's going to renew his contract. He might choose not to fight some more real matches. He's pretty good in UFC. He can beat people in real brawls. And,
well, let's see what he chooses to do.
He's not too shabby in the old professional wrestling world either.
No. Not too bad at what he does.
Otherwise, in the world of wrestling, someone had a beach ball at SummerSlam, and they were throwing it around the crowd, which is really disrespectful to the wrestlers, because like you're there to watch the wrestlers and not piss around with a beach ball. And it's really visual as well, because wrestlers can see that you're playing with a beach ball and not watching. At least if you're shouting at them, at least you're giving them some attention. You're giving them something.
Yeah, so it's a massive distraction, isn't it, to anyone performing?
And he's Sheamus's partner, the Swiss superstar, Cesaro. He walked into the crowd, grabbed the ball, and popped it. And now there's a meme saying, we barely knew you, beach ball 2017. Otherwise, in wrestling,
I like the little things like that come out of wrestling.
Yeah, it's just a little touch that ties it into the real world, sort of. In WCPW news, they had their World Cup this last week, where it involved them having a live show 5 days out of this week. They did the 3 World Cup shows and 2 other shows, and they normally do only 1 show a month, and so that's probably the most work they've ever done in that little company, wrestling company organisation they've got. It ultimately had, I won't tell you who won, because it only happened yesterday and you've probably not seen it yet.
Yeah, let's not spoil it.
They did have a special wrestler show up, and that really surprised me, just because he left WCPW for the WWE. And him showing back up again, even though he's still apparently under contract to WWE, is impressive, because WWE don't share their talent normally. They don't even acknowledge the existence of other televised shows. So for them to agree to that is really surprising, and it added an extra dynamic to the whole thing.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like it.
Otherwise, it was Joe Hendry, their champion, versus an ex-WWE star. He's no longer with the WWE, so more understandable that he could show up. Jack Swagger. I can say that because they've been advertising that for months.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
They had a mighty throwdown, and someone won.
Somebody.
There you go. That's a full feast of wrestling news there.
Quite a bit more than usual, really.
If everyone's fallen asleep with that, we'll try and wake them up with a bit of games news. Well, not news. Our games that we've been playing.
Yeah. Why don't you start, Dan? I know you've been talking for a while, but...
Yeah, sure. I've not exactly been...
Since you've been playing a mobile game, let's see your thoughts on that.
Still, I've been mostly playing Trails of Cold Steel 2. It's a game that refuses to end. I'm 60 hours in. I thought, it's a bit shorter than the other one, but But then it carries on with an epilogue, and still playing it now. Other than that, I have picked up the Final Fantasy Mobius game on mobile, and that's unlike the new Empire game, which is like sourced out to a third-party team or a reskin of another game. This is seemingly a mini game made by Square Enix themselves. It features surprising graphics for a cheapo freebie game. Because normally when a game is free, they kind of cut corners a bit. And yeah, the graphics are quite impressive, and the intro cutscenes have some voice acting in. You see the fully realized 3D guy, kind of looks like PlayStation 3 graphics kind of guy. Talking with the NPCs and the like. The voice acting stops partway through, but
Yeah, I mean, I did play this a while back when it came out, and it's not bad. Not bad. I wouldn't. Not like the best mobile game I've ever played, but it's
As with most mobile games, especially these gotcha games, you either like it or you don't. You'll play it and play it and play it and play it, or you'll play it a couple of times and just play something else and immediately get bored of it.
yeah, it is. It's pretty fun to keep playing through. I thought.
It's not to say it's not bad in any particular fashion. I quite like the mechanic. You fight a load of they're like traditional 3D JRPG battles a bit. It looks quite snazzy in that way. The controls have been altered for mobile playing, and it works for what it is.
Yeah, I like the ability to switch between sort of classes and play the battles however you feel like, basically.
Yeah, and these classes
It's-
are full outfits on your guy. Like he wears a wizard suit for the black mage and the like.
Yes, I remember that now. Yeah, it's a while since I've played it, but yeah, I remember enjoying the battle system enough. It plays fairly well from what I remember.
And I never really noticed this before with Moogles. I didn't realise they were of a hive mind, which was suggested in the storyline of this game. That if you help one of them, they all know you've helped that one, and so they're all like,
Huh.
"I'll all help you." So,
Yeah, I've never thought about Moogles that way, to be fair.
obviously, these games all take place in different universes and contexts, so kind of
So,
no need
so
for
the
consistency.
the Moogles of Mobius are
Yeah.
a hive mind.
Whatever Mobius is, it's some strange world where the same guy exists over and over again, except he's dressed in different job suits. And the idea is
The
to
job suits of your choosing.
save the world and regain your humanity or whatnot.
Yeah, it's not a bad premise. It's all right.
As you walk
It's
between
not the greatest storyline, but it
fights,
does the
you
job, doesn't it?
see the other real players kind of, well, not them for real, but their characters just walking past and waving to you. You can quickly friend them whilst they're there, or look at what cards they've got, I believe.
Yeah.
Friending people means that you get a higher chance to rent their card, one of their special cards
Yes,
or
you
something.
can use one of their abilities, can't you?
There's a kind of big social aspect. That's kind of their idea to try and keep you playing. Obviously, you can buy extra cards because they're kind of randomly picked when you exchange your in-game points for them, or real money for those in-game points.
Yeah, the real money aspect.
So far,
I didn't find it too intrusive when I played.
Yeah, I haven't had to pay money to advance thus far, though. Not that I've gotten really far. I only played about 2 hours. Got into this town that they were trying to get to in order to meet some extra NPCs.
Yeah, I think I played about the same amount. I actually deleted it off my system, but
it's big.
Not that I hated
for a
it,
mobile game, it's like over 1.5 gigabyte big, so it fills up that card, especially on my phone, which is only 32 gig, and the OS is like half of that. So you've only got 16 gig to mess with. You can't be putting massive juggernaut games on there for long.
No, can you, Ek? Absolutely not.
Though you've got expandable storage on your phone, I think, so you could get an SD
Yes,
card
I
if
do.
you wanted. That would be slightly more doable. Oh, and Final Fantasy Mobius isn't the only mobile game they've been doing, is it? Other than A New Empire.
No. I just wanted to mention that because I found it quite amusing that Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, that they've done another event with Ariana Grande, putting her into the game again. So,
I don't quite see the link. What is she singing in one of the games or something? She famous?
No, I think she's just very popular in Japan, so they put her in the game as a bit of fan service to Japanese fans.
And I
So,
guess in turn to us.
Ooh.
I want to play Ariana Grande. So Brave Exvius was their 2D top-down style, wasn't it? A bit more visually like the old ones.
Yeah, very much so. It's basically a gacha game. You use up tickets and get characters, and you want to get the. I think it's 5 stars is the top in that one. Could be 6, but basically you want the top tier characters. And basically you have to pay tickets or lots of real money.
Real
to
money.
get the ones you want.
Splendid.
Which is the main reason I don't play those games. Because I'm very reluctant to pay real money, and just like I never end up with a good team because I don't pay.
There are those few people out there that will pay it on our behalf so that we can at least still get free stuff.
Yeah, we rely on those whales.
Wow, they just keep making these things. I mean, they're even going to make a cut-down version of Final Fantasy 15 on mobile, aren't they? Using crazy graphics. Cartoony style.
Yeah, they are the horribly ugly aliens that they've made for the.
They've changed it a bit, although apparently that stays true to the story, and you actually play through effectively the whole console game on that.
Yeah, I think it's
version of it.
I think they said something about it's like 10 episodes long, and you basically play through the entire story or something like that.
That's right. You buy them in separate pieces, don't you? Or something like that. I think they're going to ship them. So hopefully they'll give out the first one for free so I can have a play around with that.
Yeah, I'd definitely like to have a look at it, see what it's like.
Obviously it's not out yet, so nothing else to say about it. How about
yourself?
No,
wait and see on that
one.
I have mainly been playing, because it released a couple of days after the last podcast, Sonic Mania was released, which is essentially, if you don't know it, a throwback to the old Mega Drive or Genesis Sonic games.
Yeah, it's got like remixed versions of Sonic 1, 2, and 3 levels, right?
Yeah, it's got those all thrown in there, and it's got three completely unique zones that they've made just for this game. So it has 12 zones in all.
It's a very pretty game.
New ones. Yeah, it's really, really nice. I recall they said they wanted when the development team started making it, they were instructed to hit something between the Genesis capabilities or the Mega Drive capabilities and the Saturn, so it's just sort of that nice in between.
And I think that was a really good idea. Just so it looks retro, but more advanced than Sonic 3.
Yeah, so it really does play like the Saturn Sonic game that we never got, like the true Sonic 4.
Yeah, it's effectively Sonic 4. It takes place kind of after those first 3 games, storyline wise, at least from the looks of it.
It does. It starts a short while after the end of Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Sonic 3 and Knuckles is Sonic 3 because they originally planned that as one big game, didn't they? So you can interchange the two because they're the same.
Yeah, that's why they released it with the lock-on feature to make the full game. But yeah, Sonic Mania is absolutely excellent. I have fully played through the whole game. It takes probably a couple of hours to play through. Collected all the KS Emeralds. The new zones are pretty cool. Forget the name of the new zones. There's the I forget the names of the new zones altogether.
There's a TV zone where it's like somethingopolis, Startropolis maybe.
Yeah, Studiopolis.
Studiopolis, yeah, that's one of the names.
That's a fun little zone, and there's the what's it called? The Press Garden Zone, which is like a
lots of jewels.
It's like a newspaper. It's like a newspaper printing place.
I've not really seen the game past zone, the flying battery zone, so I don't really know what happens after that.
Yeah, it's well worth worth a go if you have a few. Yeah, the Press Garden zone comes straight after Flying Battery Zone, if I remember correctly. So you just missed out on the second new zone.
How many zones do you get in that?
You get, I believe it's 12, maybe 13.
Oh, that's quite a lot, a decent amount.
Yeah, there's 12. Yeah.
Is it true that you can unlock special moves like the Super Peel Out from Sonic CD?
Yeah, you can only use them in no save mode, though.
Huh.
So it has the same save select style screen as Sonic 3. In no save mode, you can access a secrets menu, and you can eventually unlock Sonic's abilities from CD and 3 and Knuckles. So you can have the Sonic starts with the drop dash, which is a new move for Mania, where he drops from the air in a spin dash straight into a spin, so you can keep your momentum going. You can unlock the Super Peel Out from Sonic CD, and you can unlock the Insta Shield from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. You can only use them in no save mode. You can only use any of the secrets in no save mode, as far as I'm aware.
Oh, that's right. The Insta Shield is the one where you jump and you quickly press jump again, and he quickly flashes for a second, doesn't he, with a little shield.
He'll flash, and you can
brief instant. Hard to use move. Cause, like,
it's extremely useful, though. You do have that very brief window of not really invulnerability, but you can kill enemies with that flash.
The Super Peel Out, of course, is pretty much the turbo spin, but he's just standing up and spinning his legs.
Yeah, it gets you a good amount of momentum from a standing position. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, like if you collected the super shoes that sped you up, but you're able to kind of perform that technique on the spots, so you're not already rolling.
Kind of, yeah. It's pretty good. I appreciate it anyway. It's probably one of my favorite things from Sonic CD. I'm not really a massive Sonic CD guy, but if it did a few things right, and I think the Super Peel Out's one of them. It's pretty fun.
And that, how much did that set you back?
16 quid, I think it was. It's 15.99, so it's pretty decent.
It's not too bad.
I do want to briefly talk about the new special stage, though. The new special stage for collecting the Chaos Emeralds is amazing. It's basically a mode 7 style 3D arena, sort of a racetrack, and you run around it with a 3D Sonic looking like he's from Sonic Jam or Sonic R, and race after a what looks like similar to the UFOs from Sonic special stages, which is carrying the Chaos Emerald, and you chase it.
Oh yeah. So it's basically based off Sonic 3D, is it? That concept?
Not really. It's a lot different from Sonic 3Ds, but it does have the Mode 7 style in a similar fashion. It's a lot of fun. Probably one of my favorite special stages from the entire game, from the entire series. To be honest, it's really fun to play.
Well, the whole game was made by a bunch of modders and hackers, wasn't it? It's like real Sonic Infusion.
Pretty much, yeah. Sega's hired Christian Whitehead, and I forget his name, the guy that started Headcanon.
Yeah.
And they basically made it with the help from another studio who I can't remember the name of, because I don't have it right in front of me.
Oh, that's all right. Their name
will be
shrouded in mystery.
Yeah.
But,
yeah,
Sega,
really.
When are you going to make a Sonic Maker? Because you've always had that debug mode, which is kind of like Maker.
Yeah.
When are you going to make that, but for Sonic?
A Mario Maker style Sonic game would be absolutely
on par with Sonic Mario Maker, I imagine, because they can have the different Sonics there. They can have the Mega Drive Sonics as a scheme, Master System Sonics as a different.
That would be fantastic. Scheme. Yeah, Sega get Christian Whitehead and Headcanon on that.
So you played all of Sonic Mania. Would you say?
I'm just in the middle of playing it through with Knuckles, but yeah.
You'd be willing to score that?
Yeah, if I was going to give it a score, as someone who is very sad that the last couple of 3D Sonic games were kind of poor, extremely poor. And I've been waiting for Sonic to return to form for quite a few years, I'd have to give it. I'd probably give this a 9.5 out of 10.
Wow.
It's extremely good. It's ticking all the nostalgia boxes, but I genuinely think it's a really good game on its own merits as well.
Well, that's pretty outstanding. It's probably the highest score we've ever given on the channel, apart from 5 Dans, which is like, I think that equates to like 1 million.
Yeah, it's pretty high score. 5 full Dans.
Yeah.
Can only be applied to food.
Well, that's this podcast has been a lot longer than we thought it would be. It's definitely been packed with games, news, wrestling, and food.
Yeah. We ended up with a lot to talk about. So let's quickly wrap it up before we go too far overboard. So let's talk about what's coming up on the channel.
Well, hopefully by the end of today, this podcast will be out. Today being Sunday, the 27th of August. And also, my second opinion to last week's was it last week Light Bites? Yeah, last week's Light Bites, where Leon tried the mash pot. So I'll be trying the mash pot as well to give my opinion, and then taking it a bit further to try and make my own mash pot from scratch.
Ooh, kind of sort of defeating the point of a mash pot.
Yeah,
but
that's the objective.
Has to be tried.
To beat it in price and quality. Can I do it?
Well, we'll find out. Even I don't know this one.
I believe some Light Bites are in the pipeline. I've seen
absolutely
these fantastic bites of light.
The Indonesian Light Bite that I mentioned in the first podcast that I never actually recorded until a few days ago. Oops. Is actually coming.
So will be coming
fully
up
recorded.
Towards the end of September.
Yeah, so that'll be the next Light Bites.
And there's plenty of Light Bites coming up after that.
I actually recorded a batch, so there's plenty to come. I've actually done my job, recorded them all, so we're not gonna be no panics this time.
Yep. And we're still talking about that Halloween episode of Seriously Hungry. We hope to start recording that in about 3 weeks' time when I'm in Macclesfield to get ourselves some creepy treats, Halloween free.
Yeah, I'm hoping hopefully we can record a decent Halloween episode.
But that's still
I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to that. Love Halloween. I really like recording the Halloween episode as well. They're usually pretty funny.
An annual treat. I can't believe we're already at number 3.
Oh, I know. It's crazy.
Well, I won't wax nostalgia here. We're just about the end of our show, I think.
Yep. So, don't forget to, if you're watching this on YouTube, give us a like. If you're listening to this on any sort of podcast service, if we've managed to get it up, then give us whatever equates to a like on there.
Yep, and come and see us on our YouTube channel, Seriously Tries.
Yep, please do. So this has been the Not Quite Serious podcast. I have been Leon. That has been Dan.
See you guys.
See you next time. Bye.